Do you believe that's true? What does that say about Bitcoin? Because I'm looking at some of the quotes here that Elon said about the age of abundance. And he says, in the future, where anyone can have anything, you no longer need money as a database for labor allocation. If AI and robotics are big enough to satisfy all human needs, then the relevance of money declines rapidly. I'm not sure we will have it. If you are stranded on a desert island with $1 trillion, it will be pointless because there is no labor to allocate. In a benign scenario, we will have universal high income, not just universal basic income, meaning anyone can have any products or any services that they want. Universal high income via checks issued by federal governments is the best way to deal with unemployment caused by AI/robotics. Because AI and robotics will produce goods and services far in excess of the increase in money supply, so there will be no inflation. Work will become optional. Kind of like playing sports or a video game. You can go to the store and buy vegetables, or you can go and grow them in your backyard because you like growing them. That's what work will be like. AI and robotics are going to make so much stuff and provide so many services that they will actually run out of things to do for the humans. Money is fundamentally information. The true constraints of the future won't be financial. They'll be energy and mass.
He's half right. I agree with part of what he says. That is, consumer goods, consumables, utilitarian goods will become abundant. But there are always going to be scarce, desirable goods that will not become abundant. And I think he overstates the case. Money will still be valuable. Wealth will still be valuable. But I'll give you an example. Henry VIII didn't have clean water, did not have heat, did not have cooling. These things the King of England did not have. And technology gave all these things to the middle class. And so if you live in the middle class today, you can have your appendix out. But Henry VIII didn't have dental crowns. He didn't have x-rays. So you get modern medical care. The infant mortality rate has plunged. Life is safer. Clean water, clean air, right? Clean food. And technology gave them to us. We stamp out infinite Coca-Cola, infinite Hershey's bars, ice cream, right? Running water, right? Electricity. So all of those things have been given to the middle class, the working class in the developed world. Not everywhere, but let's say in the developed world. But everybody doesn't get a Hamptons house. Everybody doesn't get their own private jet. They don't get their own private yacht. So what happened with the explosion of affluence? Massive utilitarian entitlement, lots of cars. But, okay, so everybody gets a car, but how many people get a Porsche? What happens with humanity is we always invent the luxury car. We come up with the trophy asset. And again...
But most people don't actually want that. They want to be able to feed their family and not have to worry about the bills. So all of those people, you're saying that those people are going to be... They're going to be good. They're not going to have to worry.
I'm saying that if your aspiration is a good life, if you want infinite food, infinite energy, infinite education, infinite entertainment, right, you're probably going to get it. My point is, in theory, right, why does money matter today? Because everybody, has electricity and water. Because people want to buy something more than water. By the way, water is the proletarian drink.
What does that mean?
It means that if you go to a restaurant and you can't afford anything else, you ask for a cup of water, right? And then if you have some more money, you get yourself a Coca-Cola or a soft drink, and that costs $5. But if you have more money, you buy yourself a vodka. And then when you have more money, you want to buy yourself the specialty high-end tequila, and eventually people find a way to spend $38 on a drink. And, in New York City, you can see that everywhere. Why do we go to restaurants and pay $300 to eat at a restaurant? Because you can actually feed yourself on $3 a day. And the answer is there's always going to be a hierarchy of affluence, and people are going to find things to aspire to that will be more than the utilitarian mean that everybody gets. If I give you a universal health care, people want private health care. If I give everybody a house, someone's going to want a house twice as big. Everybody's always going to have a reason to want something more.
Because we're status-orientated animals.
That's the cynical way to look at it. But the other way to look at it is, I wanted to be sitting on a mountain peak skiing, but not that mountain peak, because the snow's not good on that mountain peak this week.
And it's too busy on this one.
Yeah, and that one's too crowded. It's like there's always going to be some exclusivity. There's going to be a quest. So I think that money's not going away. I think it's pretty obvious if you look around you that people still need money. It is true that the basic needs in life, basic transportation, basic energy, basic health care, all of those things can be manufactured in quantity and they'll get progressively cheaper. We'll call them consumer goods.